Hello everyone, welcome to the Pikeville City Managers Report. I'm your host, Jill Fraley-Dotson, along with Pikeville City Manager Philip Elswick. Good day.
Hey, Jill.
Hey, I know you are excited to be here because we are in undoubtedly one of the most beautiful buildings in all of Eastern Kentucky.
Absolutely. We're excited to finally have it open. Actually, July 1st, the day that it opened, I think we have some events scheduled for this week, maybe 3 to 4 events.
Had to rearrange our schedule
we
to
did,
make sure
absolutely.
we could get in here.
But that's good.
That is good. As you see over our shoulders, it is the beautiful view from the Overlook, the brand new Overlook Event Center. I know people have been really anxious to see what is on top of the hill at Bob Amos Park now, what was formerly known as the Scenic Overlook, and it certainly now is more scenic than ever.
Absolutely. It was a really nice space to begin with, but we felt like, the commission and I felt like it could be used for such a higher purpose. So we chose to build this new venue space and capitalize on the view through the cut through and just the natural beauty all around us.
Yeah, it came out of a conversation of like you said, using the space in a different way to better benefit all of obviously of Pikeville, but really all of Eastern Kentucky.
Absolutely.
Because if you live in the surrounding areas, if you come to Pikeville, one of the stops for many people was always the Overlook because of the beauty of the mountains and to overlook the town. But now it takes on a whole different meaning. So let's go back to the beginning.
Sure.
I know you and the commission talked about it, but take us back to the beginning of the construction of this beautiful facility.
Well, it was over a year ago now. There were a couple shelters here, as you probably remember, and we relocated those to different places in the park. We had this building designed, and it's 7,000 square feet. It seats 350 maximum. Construction started, I believe, in the spring, and it has progressed until we're finally here. And really nice facility. You mentioned not just for Pikeville, but all of Eastern Kentucky, and that's true. We believe that it'll become really a regional destination for all kinds of events. That's certainly what we hope for.
We were hoping to open the building back in April, and it was primarily completed then. But because of COVID-19 and the different shutdowns that took place, we had to reschedule some events that were here and kind of keep the building closed until now.
Yeah, we had a number of events scheduled in April, May, and June, which unfortunately we had to cancel those because of the COVID-19 pandemic. But with the new guidelines that the governor's issued on venues and event space, we believe that we can now use this space in a way that's very productive. So beginning July 1st, we chose to open this building and take reservations. And as I mentioned earlier, we have a number of reservations, which is what we were wanting.
Absolutely. So for people that obviously want to know what it looks like, walk us through, as you come through the front door, what are you going to see?
Sure. When you come through the front door, you enter, it can be either one large room that seats about 350, or it can be separated into 3 smaller spaces for certain types of events, maybe conferences that need smaller spaces for breakout groups. On one end of the building, you'll see a fireplace, indoor-outdoor fireplace. So as you're having events, you can enjoy the fire inside or maybe outside if you have a group there. If you walk directly to the back of the building from the front door, you will see the cut through, the patio here. And on either side of that, there's 2 large patios, which are great event space in and of themselves. So it's not necessary to use the inside of the building. You certainly can use the outside as well. We have a full commercial kitchen, so all the catering that the arena will do can be done in this building. So it will be just as if you're at the arena, the same food quality. When we designed this building, we wanted it to be kind of a lodge-like atmosphere. And I think that we've accomplished that, and with the exposed timber and the stone facade and the stone patios.
You mentioned when you come through and you see the beautiful, the view that is, and it really is breathtaking. I guess through the construction, a lot of us have been up here to kind of see how it's transformed and taken on its shape. And the last little bit, when the finishing touches were getting put on, it really dawned on me just what a gorgeous view it is from the patio deck, and that the outside decks or patios can be used for events in and of themselves. If you don't really want to come inside, you can use outside. Right. You mentioned the commercial kitchen though, and I do want to make note that the arena will be under taking care of the booking.
Absolutely.
And the catering of this facility.
Right. It'll be just like the arena. You'll contact the staff there to make the reservations. All the catering has to be done through our arena staff. It's just a different location. It's really all it is. And I said earlier that when you come in the front door, the first thing you'll see is a large room. That's not true. The first thing you'll see is the view out the back door on the patio here.
You kind of get lost in it.
Absolutely.
You really do. So anything from, any event can be held here. We anticipate conferences.
We do.
I know Rotary is going to have one of their events here.
Right.
Starting out, maybe the first event that is booked, but also birthday parties, weddings. I've envisioned many weddings.
We have a retirement party booked for the early part of July.
We do, a retirement party. So really anything that you can envision can be done here. And let's talk about parking too, because there's a large parking area.
Absolutely. I think there's 92 parking spaces for this building. It was the absolute maximum that we could create on the piece of property, but there's another parking lot just a little bit down the road that, should it be necessary, we can certainly shuttle people back and forth from that parking lot to this building. So we hope that there's ample parking. We certainly believe that there is.
We'll find a way to get them there.
That's right.
Here,
Absolutely.
no doubt. So let's talk about a few other things. Of course, obviously, we are here today to talk primarily about the Overlook Event Center and how excited we are to open it up. But we've also opened up city facilities,
Absolutely.
City Hall, all of those services are back in place. So let's just touch base on those.
Absolutely. On June the 1st, all of our city administrative offices open. So City Hall, our office for Economic Development, the police station lobby, the fire station lobby, all of those facilities are back open now. We have some rules in place. If you come in, you must wear a mask and you must socially distance from other people in the building, and we enforce those rules. As a local government, we have a duty to protect not just our employees, but the public, the folks that we serve. So, we have these safeguards in place that we can continue to have these facilities open and operating. But all of our employees, when they come to work every day, have to complete a self-screening questionnaire to answer, I think there's 10 questions about symptoms associated with COVID-19. So we're screening our folks to make certain that we're not going to affect the public as they come in. But on June the 8th, we opened all of our playgrounds, tennis courts, basketball courts. Those have been closed for a few months. The parks had never been closed. The parks were always open. We wanted to provide an avenue for the public to have some recreation. But for those facilities that required a lot of high-touch surfaces, it was necessary to close those.
So we're getting somewhat back to normal.
Somewhat, as much as possible.
We had been planning, and we are still planning, a series of events. Hopefully those will take shape. But there was one. We were going to have a Main Street Live on July 3rd.
Right.
But with the resurgence of cases, I think in Pike County and certainly around the country, we chose to cancel that event.
Right. This pandemic is so dynamic and changes so quickly that you can make plans, but you need to be prepared to have to change them as well. And Main Street Live is a good example of that. We were certainly planning to have that event. We had a configuration for tables and chairs that was going to be very safe and protective for people. But because of the spike in cases that occurred in the weeks before that, we just felt like it was best to cancel that event and ask people to stay home and follow all Governor Beshear's rules on healthy at home, healthy at work, all of those requirements.
But one event that we are still looking forward to and thankful that we can at least provide that is the fireworks on the 4th of July. No festivities downtown as
Right.
normal. We usually have a huge festival
Absolutely.
Downtown for the 4th of July, but that's just not possible with the restrictions.
It is not. The fireworks, of course, will still go on at 10 o'clock, as you said, on the 4th. And we are encouraging anyone that comes to town to watch those to stay in their car, stay in their household units, socially distance, and wear masks. We want to provide that opportunity, but we expect people to be safe, and if not for themselves, but for the people around them.
Yeah, I think it's a really good way. I mean, obviously, we're all getting used to a new normal, at least for now. But I think it's a good way for family units to still get together, maybe, pack a cooler with some drinks and some snacks and have your family there together to enjoy the fireworks. And like we said, we ask that you stay in the car, but if you, for some reason, you need to get out of your car, you could sit on the hood of your car, you could be right around there with your family. So we just ask everybody to be smart about it and to be aware and conscious of other people and their feelings too, and make sure you keep that mask handy.
Absolutely. And, we have asked that if you are sick or displaying any of the COVID-19 symptoms, please don't come to town to watch the fireworks. It's being live streamed on YouTube. It'll be recorded and showed by Pike TV as well. There will be ample opportunity to see the fireworks.
Yeah, we'll celebrate all month long.
Absolutely.
If you can't be there, we'll celebrate all month long. And I have to say this, our police and our fire department, who will be putting off the fireworks, have done a tremendous job about answering questions, responding to calls, and just maintaining the best sense of normalcy that we can. So we really want to give them a lot of credit for maintaining a calm.
Absolutely. They should definitely be commended for the work that they've done. And, being a police officer or a firefighter is dangerous anyway. And when you couple that with a pandemic of an infectious disease, it's infinitely more dangerous. But we never stopped taking phone calls and responding to calls. Maybe our folks looked a little different when they showed up. They might have been wearing a mask and a gown to protect themselves and protect you. But we continue to provide the same level of service that we always do and that we pride ourselves on.
Let's talk a little bit about the fire department for a second and the fireworks display that they completely oversee from start to finish. That is not easy work. It is extremely dangerous, and they are very skilled.
They are, absolutely. The planning for that show begins many months in advance, and we, of course, purchase the fireworks, have to go and get them, bring them back. And then it is multiple days of just back-breaking manual labor to prepare for that show. But they love doing it. And there's a number of police officers involved in that as well. And they always provide a great show, and we're so thankful for the work that they do.
It'll be fun to see this year, especially this year when we need a little bit of
That's right.
A bright light. Our projects in and around the city have continued, although the pandemic has been going on and we've been teleworking in a lot of ways, but there are a lot of those projects that have still gained a lot of focus and attention during the last few months. And one of those that we're really looking forward to getting started is our 2nd Street Streetscape project that is going to really change the way maybe that 2nd Street looks, not making it any more difficult at all, but to really just give it new life. And we're excited about that.
That's a project that's been in the planning for some time. And the goal of that is to make 2nd Street a more aesthetically pleasing corridor, to make it more attractive to pedestrians. And we're instituting some traffic calming measures there as well to slow you down, because we believe and certainly hope that there'll be many more pedestrians on that corridor. When we do the project in its entirety, it'll extend from Pike Street to Huffman Avenue. And the changes that you're going to see are, the street will no longer be asphalt. It'll be like concrete pavers of different colors. The colors that we used on the App Plaza will be those pavers. But additionally, you'll see some where the sidewalk's been widened and kind of bumped out into the street to create a parklet, I believe is the term. So you'll see more vegetation, more benches, things of that nature. The street will meander as well, so that folks will slow down. It's just going to be a completely different appearance than it's had in the past. The first phase of that project is going to extend from Division Street to Caroline Avenue. And we chose that as the first part of the project because that's where a lot of our events that Main Street does and the arena, the theater, where they have their events. So we chose to do that first, and then we'll certainly do the other phases after that.
It's a big project with a few different phases, so that will be the first phase, and we look forward to starting that project pretty soon. Really want to change the way that 2nd Street looks. It's already beautiful with the back of dueling barrels there, or I guess the colorful side of dueling barrels, if you will. The lights that go through, the different businesses that have their really creative awnings. So it's going to be a really nice enhancement to our downtown area.
You know, everything we do in the downtown area is meant to increase pedestrian traffic and aid our merchants in the downtown area. We have a lot of businesses there that have been there for years, and we certainly support those. And we couple that with our economic incentives that we've instituted to create new business. But this is just another piece in that puzzle to continue working on those projects.
This is something that kind of came about after our last comprehensive plan that was done 10, 11 years ago. And now we are continuing to work on our comprehensive plan this year going forward. Work on that has not stopped. In fact, we received a number of surveys, really a mind-blowing number of surveys back for ways that people want to see our city enhanced and things that we can do better, things that need to be changed. 900 surveys, I think, is what we received back in. And I say, when you read them and I look at them, it's always the good, the bad, and the ugly. You know, you got to take it all in. Yeah. In order to improve anything, you have to have all those factors in place. But it is moving forward, and we're getting ready, probably in August, actually, to have another session, a series of charrettes, if you will. So talk a little bit about what that is.
Right. Those will be public meetings where our consultants are in town. It'll be sort of a brainstorming session where you come in and talk about your vision for Pikeville. They ask questions about what you may see 1 year, 3 years, 5 years into the future. You mentioned the surveys, and we did have 900 responses, which was a fantastic response. We're thankful that people took time to do that because it was a little bit of a lengthy survey. And you mentioned good, bad, and ugly, and that is so true. But even as you work through those 900 surveys and look at the responses that people gave, there are common threads in those responses that we will certainly pull out, and those will be facets of our comprehensive plan.
Looking forward to our next visit in August with our consultants. It's always a good time to get together, and I love hearing all the different ideas that our residents and community members have.
A lot of great ideas.
So let's shift gears a little bit and talk about, we are at the top, can't get any higher than this at Bob Amos Park. But when you start at the bottom of Bob Amos Park, there's so many opportunities for people to walk the hill. I mean, that's the one thing that you see a number of people every day on. But we have our dog parks that we want to we want to remind people of. If you have pets and you don't have access to a large yard or an exercise facility for them to run in, we invite you to bring your dogs. And there's a park for larger dogs and for the smaller ones as well.
That's right, and those are used heavily. It seems like every time I come to Bob Amos Park, I see folks in both of those. The dog park's the first thing you come to. The next thing you come to is the RV park, which has stayed very busy this year. And I suppose some of that can be attributed to COVID-19, but that's a fantastic facility, and Jimmy Taylor that kind of manages that and markets it does a fantastic job. But beside that is the soccer complex that UPike and Pikeville High School uses for their games. And then as you move up the hill, like the next level is the YMCA and 2 Little League baseball fields. With the Y's new pool there, there's been an increased amount of traffic there as well. Which is a great project. The Y did an excellent job designing and constructing that pool. And then you get to the top with the tennis courts, the pickleball courts, the track, the turf field, zip lines, I suppose, the park, the multi-use trail. So there's a number of things on that level of just a whole host of activities.
And then as you start up to come to the top level, to where we are, to the Overlook Event Center, you can't help, but you have to pass the Hatfield-McCoy stables, which are staying extremely busy. And we want to encourage people, if you've always wanted to do horseback riding or take lessons, all of that is available there, and they will take you on rides, trail rides throughout our trail system. They will have birthday parties there. They will teach your little ones to do pony rides or give them lessons, but they do a fantastic job. And with the horses, but not only, one of our great resources we have here is our river system, and you can rent your kayaks there as well.
Every weekend that we have pretty weather like today, I see tubes and kayaks floating down the river, and you're right, it's a great system, it's a great river, beautiful views, and you see views that you have no idea exist unless you do that.
That's one of the things that we have encouraged so many people to do as we've been going through this pandemic and being quarantined and having so many things shut down. Well, the great thing is that the outdoors have always been open.
That's right.
You mentioned our park systems have stayed open. The river is open. The horse barn was closed, but we've encouraged people to get out and walk. You know, do the Hatfield-McCoy walking tour downtown, or drive to those locations. But certainly, you know, if you have purchased your own kayak, the best thing to do is to get on the river or even the Pikeville Pond.
Right.
You know, it's a mile long.
Absolutely.
A lot of people don't realize that. They
Right.
just think, you know, they just see it and they don't realize that it is really a good place to get your workout in or to be leisurely and just float about. But our tourism has taken on a little bit of a different look this year because, you know, we haven't been able to have events at the arena or at the Appalachian Center for the Arts, but certainly, you know, putting foot to pavement or foot to dirt or whatever, if you're however you look at it, when you're out in the mountains or on the trail is certainly something that everybody needs to enjoy.
It has taken a different look, and you know, we believe that, and I think we're seeing that people are going to stay closer to home for vacation. And there are so many things in Pikeville that you can do, so many things that we offer. And unfortunately, we have had to cancel events, and those things aren't available. But there's so many other recreational opportunities, and we pride ourselves on having those and making them available to people at reasonable cost.
One of the great resources we also have is the Breaks Interstate Park. That's just 40 minutes from downtown Pikeville. And, and we've talked for a year or so about, you know, you stay in Pikeville, you play in the mountains. And it's certainly true now. Our hotels, I believe in a week or so, around the 7th, the Hilton Garden Inn is going to open back up and taking guests then. So those hotels are going to be open. So if, you know, if you're outside of the area or you have family that you want to visit, you know, that wants to come into the area, they'll be able to utilize the hotel system and not only use our park here, but also the Breaks Interstate Park, which is absolutely gorgeous this time of year.
And there's so many things you can do there as well, recreation opportunities.
It's an exciting time as we look forward, although we have obstacles in place. The Appalachian Wireless Arena is still busy.
It is.
Booking shows for later on in a social distanced manner. So Paul and his staff have really been working hard to make sure we have some events, some shows.
Absolutely. I think this morning he was saying that based on the governor's guidelines for venues that we can achieve a maximum capacity of 2,300, is that what it was? 23. Which is suitable for some concerts and some shows. So he's working feverishly, I would say, to schedule some of those shows. And he has told me about at least 6 to 8 different concerts that have expressed interest in coming to Pikeville within the next year.
And these are pretty good concerts.
Absolutely,
I must say, some big names. Looking forward to them. One of the events that we have had to cancel for the summer are the drag racing events in the river field because there's just really no safe way to socially distance at those events. But Andy has been busy working on some other things. I know he and Jimmy Taylor are working on a great event that's going to be later in July that we haven't even had a chance to talk about yet, so this will be the first time, and that's Reels in the Hills. Right,
that's going to be at Bob Amos Park, a drive-in movie feel. We're going to have that for the first time in late July, and I suspect we'll do it a few more times through the summer.
I think it'll be a reoccurring event, and of course that will have all the social distancing measures in place. It's hard to say over and over again. So be looking for information in our community and in our publications a little bit later on this month because that is going to be a lot of fun, and I think everybody loves the feel of a drive-up kind of drive-in kind of movie. A lot of those places don't exist anymore. There's only a handful of them on the Eastern Seaboard. So we're excited to be able to offer that. We're going to see how it goes, and I think it's going to be really successful. Also, the Appalachian Center for the Arts, another place that has had to be quietened or silenced for a little bit. But they are conducting what I think is really cool and really interesting, a series of virtually Broadway boot camps that they're doing.
All of their camps that they would typically do in person in the facility were moved online this year, of course, another casualty of the pandemic. But they have had a tremendous response to that. Robin Irwin, the director there, was telling me that she has had kids as far as Wisconsin participate in those camps, which is amazing. And besides the kids camps, there's some master classes that we typically do with professional artists, professional actors. So those are moving on too, and it's been a tremendous response this year. It's really cool to get kids from Wisconsin.
You know, it really is. I never thought about it that way, but really anybody can participate from all over the country, which is really interesting, and also shows them what we have here in our little part of the world to offer if they want to visit later on. We have to talk about Kentucky Enterprise Industrial Park, and activity there is still going on. Our access road is nearly complete.
It is.
Paving is going on there. Activity on our new speculative building is continuing. It's just under 60,000 square feet and is moving at a rapid pace compared to some other projects and buildings that we've seen. I think 8 weeks ahead of schedule?
8 weeks ahead of schedule, which is
we hope it stays that way. Yeah, that could be completed by the end of the year if it stays at that pace. But just another way that we're looking to recruit business and industry to Eastern Kentucky and create jobs. And then, like I mentioned, the road is nearly complete, which is going to make it much easier and quicker to get up on that mountain. But also just another way that we can attract business and entice them to come and locate at KEIP. So looking forward to that. I will say this from an economic development standpoint. I know you and I talk about it a lot, but since COVID, it's been amazing to me since we've started to reopen the number of people that have shown an interest in locating businesses within the city of Pikeville.
It's incredible and encouraging.
Yeah, it is.
So, with all the shuttering of businesses by the governor's orders, it was a little bit troubling about what businesses may reopen and which ones may not, but very encouraging the number of phone calls that you're getting and the number of inquiries.
I look forward to announcing some new things coming up in the next few weeks. I know a lot of people have seen the Five Below sign go up at Pikeville Commons. They are on track to be open sometime mid-August, so look forward to that. I think they're going to be doing some job opportunities and posting of those coming up. So that's one thing that we can go ahead because the sign is there. But I can tell you that there's a number of things in the works and people that are showing interest that we hope to be able to make some really exciting announcements very, very soon. And like you said, it's encouraging.
Absolutely.
That
and some
people are interested.
Unique businesses, Pikeville, things that aren't already here. So stay tuned. It'll be cool.
Stay tuned. Very good. Last thing we want to mention, just visit pikeville.com for any opportunities that you would like for your family to be a part of, whether you want to do horseback, kayaking, take a tour downtown, look at some of our beautiful landscape. We want to encourage you to use that app.
Absolutely. That's kind of a one-stop shop for all of our tourism activities and get all the information about what's happening in town.
Yeah, and don't forget pikevilleky.gov if you need to pay your utilities, get tax information, pay any of those bills online. Certainly we encourage you to stay home if you can, but if you feel like you want to come to City Hall to do that, you certainly can. Just make sure that you're aware of those precautions. But we want to make it as simple as possible for our residents if they don't feel comfortable yet going out.
All of those options that we made available during the closure of our administrative offices are going to stay with us. They're not going to be discontinued. They're becoming increasingly popular, which is good. It's most protective of people to use those options.
Absolutely, and I think this is going to be, like we said, we know the term new normal now, but I think this is going to be what we see as normal for a little while. Just to use caution, to be very careful, to be smart about your travel and what you do out in the community. We're out of time, but I tell you, I'm so happy that we're finally in this building and could share it with our community. And we invite you now, the road is open.
That's right.
So if you want to come up and take a look over this beautiful balcony, we encourage you to do so. If you wanted to schedule an event, make sure you contact Andrea Collins at the Appalachian Wireless Arena, and she will certainly pick you up.
Absolutely.
Philip, thanks so much.
Thank you, Jill.
This has been the Pikeville City Manager's Report. Thank you so much for joining us.